change is difficult. And so I want to thank them truly for that patience. I just want to make 2 quick points in closing, Mr. Speaker. The first point is this. I believe strongly that our society's greatest invention is Parliament. More particularly, I believe that our society's greatest invention is this elected House of Commons. And even more particularly, this elected House of Commons and its democratic checks and balances on power. If we were to look around the world today at the societies that have the greatest prosperity, the greatest justice, the greatest social outcomes, the most stability, they are all liberal democracies with democratic checks and balances on power. And that's no accident. It's these very checks and balances on power, democratic in nature, that have produced the kind of wealth, the kind of stability, and the kind of prosperity that we have come to enjoy as citizens in the modern West. And that's why I believe in the principles of this bill so strongly. We need to strengthen these democratic checks and balances on power, and if we can do so, we will ensure that the prosperity and the stability and the outcomes that we really have inherited from generations past will be passed on to the generations to come in this great country. And the second point I want to make, Mr. Speaker, is this. Time is short. We are mere months away from the adjournment of this Parliament and the eventual dissolution of this Parliament in a general election. And if the bill is successfully adopted at third reading next week, we have a mere 4 months for the Senate to consider this bill and to adopt it into law. And so my message through you, Mr. Speaker, to the Senate is this. This bill must be adopted into law. This is a bill that concerns the democratic reform of this elected House of Commons. This is a bill that is about this House of Commons and how its members govern themselves and organize themselves. This bill is about how this House of Commons elects its own members. And for that very reason, I believe that the Senate should expeditiously and swiftly pass this bill. Constitutionally, we are a chamber that masters our own destiny, and I believe the Senate should respect those constitutional divisions of powers and should quickly pass this bill and strengthen the democratic checks and balances that we have in this place so that we can pass along to future generations a Parliament strengthened and prepared to deal with the challenges in the 21st century. Thank you very much.